So I think he gave the full intro. I don't even need to give a presentation anymore. But just kidding. This one thing I want to preface for the presentation today is that this is a safe environment. So what does that mean? I'm not a professor. I don't want to talk to you guys for 45 minutes straight. I'm sure there's a lot of questions in the room. So as I'm going over things, feel free to stop me and ask. I'd love to help you. Let's get it. So you're probably wondering who I am. I'm probably one of the younger people here giving a presentation. And so they called me Killer Camp, right? Probably can't say that as trademarked or something. But as the intro provided, I am the CEO of Open Bay Autos, overall hustler, overall creator, and just a really cool guy. So before we get too much further, I want to show you guys this video for our company. All right, hope you guys enjoyed that little video. Shout out Connor right there, super dope videographer. The reason why I showed you guys that is because with Real Ones Create, and my story personally, everything started with creation. I'm a creator at heart, as I told you, and my entrepreneurship journey started with making music. The burning question of anybody who makes any type of art is, how can I get my art into the world? So with that question, I dedicated to figuring it out. And the reason why I can say that I'm qualified to give information when it comes to growing your business through social media platforms is because I'm doing it, and I've actually done it. That being said, every day I wake up and get to the grind to market my music, right? I started out with like 50 monthly listeners. I was happy to get 1,000 people to stream one of my songs. And I was like, this is not good enough. I have to grow it. That being said, I'm now at a point where I hit about 40,000 monthly listeners each month that I listen to my music. Floating Away, that same song that was in the last slide you see was at 1,600. That's not even my highest streamed song anymore. And I've accrued over 1 million streams, not only because of me, but thanks to the team and all of their skill sets. The reason why I bring all that up is because the same marketing strategies that I use to grow my music is the same marketing strategies that businesses need to grow their brands. So I was like, now that I figured this out, let's start doing this for businesses. And we've done just that, and I've started working with numerous businesses here in the area. So before I continue too much further, I want to debunk a couple myths that I've found. The first myth is, I hear this all the time, and I just want to drill this in your guys' head that if you don't have marketing, you're not going to be able to grow your company. So you have to either invest the time, the money, or the energy yourself to grow your company. Otherwise, how are you going to get more sales? Secondly, 55% of consumers learn about brands through social media. So even if you're a company that is killing the game, your sales are going astronomical and everything's cool, you could be doubling what you're doing by just having a well-optimized strategy. So that's going to be super important. The last thing is, with some of our digital campaigns that we've ran with the strategy that I created to market my own music, we can get new leads into our business for literally as cheap as 10 cents. So just to put that into perspective, 1 dime, you got a new customer. 2 dimes, you got 2 new customers. And from my experience, there's no other marketing platform that can give you that type of efficient results. So, a lot of information. All right. The first question I have is, do you guys have a cell phone? Is there anyone in the audience that doesn't have a cell phone? You ain't got one? All right. So the reason I say that is because if you have a cell phone, you have everything you need to be a content creator. The first thing I want to point out is that when you're shooting content, you want to shoot in vertical format. And I'll get to why that is here in a moment. But this is horizontal. So when you're shooting a video for your business, for yourself, whatever it is, like, don't ever do that again. Shoot it this way. It's a small like nuance, but it's super important because it's how the platforms are formatted. And the reason for that is because YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of these platforms have short form content, which is those vertical reels. So when you make one video, you can post to every platform off that same video just because you shot it vertically. It's super important for efficiency. It's super important to keep your creativity up as well. Cool. So the next thing that I want to go over with you guys is to take a moment back when like you're creating. So when I first started like making music and figuring it out, I'll post a video and be like, oh my God, I have a pimple like on my forehead. Like people are gonna look at me crazy. And I think just in general, putting yourself out there, there's a lot of insecurity, there's a lot of fear, it's a lot of anxiousness. At least I know that's what I experienced. So you have to just take a step back and say like, take yourself out of it and just create more and create better. 3 things that are going to be important when you're creating reels is you always want it to have a hook. Now, a hook is essentially just something that is creative that will catch someone's attention. So when you're swiping on reels, you only have about 2 to 3 seconds to get someone's attention before they swipe away. So whether you jump into the video or just do something really creative or have a creative caption on the first 2 seconds of that video, doesn't really matter, but you need something that's going to keep people there. The second thing that I see a lot of businesses go wrong at is using trending sounds. So trending sounds are super important because it helps get your reels pushed out. Before I continue, does anyone have any questions so far? We chilling? All right, bet. So trending sounds are super important. On Instagram, you can always find trending sounds because it has like a little arrow that's pointed up diagonally like this. And then the last thing is authenticity. So what I found when I was creating music is people always responded to more organic videos, just the raw version of myself. And even when I started marketing for businesses, it's the same way. A lot of times businesses really focus on like the quality, and it's understandable because like this is my brand, this is my baby, like I want it to be the best possible video I could ever make. But what's really more important is creating a lot of content and doing it efficiently. And the reason why I can say that is because with the strategy that I use to grow my own brand and other brands, it works. So if you focus too much on creating just quality of videos to the point that you're spending all day making a video, it takes away from the strategy. So here, I call it hustle and hard work, and it's a 4-point strategy for you to be able to grow your brand successfully. The first step is to have hella content. What does hella content mean? You have to create a lot of videos. So if you have a new product that you're trying to make, if you're about to launch your business, you want to create like 50 to 100 videos. I know that sounds like insane, like how could I make that many videos? But with the right strategy is going to be super important. With all that content that you make, what happens is you're going to warm up the audience. And everyone wants a warm audience because they're juiced up, they're feeling good, and that means they're going to take your call to action. When the audience is warm, you then can have a call to action to get them to your CRM list, which is your mailing list, your texting platforms, whatever it is. And what's even cooler about that is once an audience engages with your platform, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, whatever, you can use retargeting campaigns with digital ads to get those same followers back to your website. Does that make sense so far? Anybody got any questions? So a CRM, like, have you heard of like MailChimp before? Or it's customer relationship management is just kind of like platforms that you can use to get customers off of social media. So Mailchimp, what it does is you can automate email blasts to people, and you can structure it however you like. Other ones that are similar to that is, I'm trying to think of a texting platform that we use. Simple texting is another one that you can get, like, automatically send messages to people that follow you. Yeah. Did you have a question, bro? No one? All right, chilling, cool. So yeah, the other thing that I really want to focus on here is, yeah. Yeah, that's a great question. So you want to schedule that out. I would say probably over a month's time span. You don't want to post like 50 videos in one day. I don't think that would do a lot for you. But in about a month's time span, and you want to structure that content strategically with any new product you're releasing or any new launch. And you want to make sure there's a story behind it. So for me, when I'm making music and I'm going to drop a new single, I have to make sure there's about 50 videos that are to go towards that single to get people to Spotify, to get them to wherever I want. If you have a new service available for business, you want to think of every point as to why someone would want to purchase your service, and you want to make videos based off of that. Yeah.
Is there any other way to build up a warm audience besides hella content?
Yeah, so another way that you can build up a warm audience is just running digital ads. If you're in a position where you're like, hey, like, I don't even have the time to make videos like that, or I don't have the budget, I will say that digital ads is like every small business's best friend. There's just simply not a place you can get cheaper leads than well-optimized ads. So you can learn how to run Facebook and YouTube ads literally on YouTube. You can hire somebody, or you can figure out yourself. It doesn't really matter, but like, you need that resource for your business to truly grow. Any other questions so far? We chilling? Yeah.
So I've seen like other people on multiple platforms who are talking about how to grow your following on these similar platforms. And one of the things they talk about specifically when it deals with like people making content for TikTok or in TikTok and then blasting that out to other platforms. So like I take my TikTok video and I put it on Reels, and you see it all the time. But there's this idea that if it has like the TikTok little, like, the little watermark with your name on it,
Mm-hmm.
that somehow the algorithm is like, absolutely not, because they feel like they're promoting TikTok and this is Instagram. Is there truth to that?
You want to answer that one, Connor? You got it?
I'm not going to say I have the data to back up that truth, but I would not put it out of the realm of possibility that Instagram's algorithms or TikTok's algorithms even aren't able to see that and will hurt your reach. One thing we use is called Musical Down, and basically you can just copy your TikTok link or your Instagram link, put it directly into that platform, and download it without the watermark. So that'll make it easier to. Again, I don't have the data to back up that aspect to their algorithm, but I will say it's not something I would test to where it's like I want to consistently put that watermark on my videos, basically. Does that answer your question?
It's better being safe than sorry.
Well, like when you're doing that, like it's easier, yeah. I put it on TikTok and did all the edits in TikTok. I'll just download it and post it, other places. And I believe TikTok will even do it for you if you tell them share it to Snapchat, share it to Reels, share it to whatever, it'll do it. But I was thinking, maybe it'd be better if you just, shot your video, did your edits not in TikTok, and then just uploaded it multiple places. But I wasn't sure.
I would say that's how I've been doing it. That's how we do it. It's still efficient because once it's edited once, you might have to make slight variations to each video, but it still gets the job done. Another cool thing about that is if you edit it outside of those apps, you can put like different parts of the video on different apps so that every audience gets like something a little different, which can be cool as well. Any other questions, y'all? We chilling? We chilling? All right, bet. Cool. So where's this thing at? All right. So a couple things that you want to do when you're like, all right, I'm ready to grow my brand, I'm ready to shoot videos, is you want to find your niche. And all that means is you want to find people that make content like you. This part is very key because if you don't do that, you're not going to understand why you're growing. So you could post a video and it goes crazy, but you don't really understand the market that you're in on social media. And so the next video could be something that your fans or your fan base doesn't even like. So you want to do that research. If you're a chef, find other chefs. If you're a restaurant, find local restaurants. If you're an entrepreneur, look at what other entrepreneurs are doing on social media platforms and study that down to the letter. Like you want to really analyze it and say like, okay, why is this successful? Not that you're going to get all the answers in that, but that's going to give you a really good indication on how to base your creative strategy. The other thing is, I'm going to keep it honest. There's times like, and that's why I say like I've done it. I've been through trying to grow TikTok, trying to grow on Instagram, where I've spent like a week editing the video. I'm like, man, this video's going to go crazy. It's like I'm going to get 1 million views. It's like 5 views on it. And I'm like, oh my God, I hate my life. So like you have to just give it time, monitor the data, and like don't allow like any of that to discourage you. I think like these platforms like are wired to like hurt our personal beliefs about ourselves. So like if you get bad views or whatever it is, like just keep going, keep following the vision, keep building your dream, like and starting your business. Like don't worry about any of that. And then the last thing is do your best to never waste any media. There have been times where like I've used an old random clip of like just me chilling doing nothing and the video was pretty successful. So if you have videos that are already in your phone that you shot and didn't do anything with, think of ways that you can repurpose that. Again, I believe everybody is a creator, everybody is a creative, and just come up with some ideas of like, okay, this is literally a random video of me standing by a tree. Like how could I uniquely use this for my business? And again, since authenticity is important, videos like that typically do a lot better. Yeah. Well, I just typically keep it on my phone. You can use Google Drive. You can use Dropbox. Another thing that you can use, each platform has what's called a drafts. So if you shoot a video, but you don't want to like use it right then, it can save in the drafts right on that app. You have any other places, Connor, that you think? Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. 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 It only should if it is in line with your brand. So let's say like your brand is I'm a mother entrepreneur, right? Then a video like that could do pretty well because the people that are following you or at least interested in that type of content are gonna love to see videos with your family. If you're like something totally different though, then that probably wouldn't do as well. So you do have to use some discretion there. Mm-hmm. We good? We chilling? Bet. All right. Let's go. I can't figure out how to use this thing. All right. A couple other things that you guys want to keep in mind are these 4 metrics. So one being revenue, where like okay, how am I generating revenue from social media? Keep in mind that sometimes revenue isn't always dollars. Sometimes it could be like, am I getting new people to my website? Am I getting new people to my CRM list that then eventually buy? But if you're not seeing any revenue from social media, you have to go back and say, okay, why are they not converting, and what can I do to fix that pipeline issue? The other thing is audience engagement. So in everything that you post and create, you want to offer value. Don't overthink it, because I've overanalyzed this, and like I said, I wasted a lot of time. Just think of like your brand, that it's not a story, it's your story. So the value is you and your experiences and what you've been through, whether that is the business and the brand, or if it's a personal brand, it doesn't matter. So just offer yourself and what you know, and that's the value in itself. Third is brand reach. And with that brand reach, you want to make sure that your videos are getting pushed out. So if you keep getting like 5 views over and over and over and over and over again, you have to take a step back and be like, okay, why is this? A couple reasons is like, am I making sure the first 2 seconds of my video is super, super interesting? Like, am I using the proper trending sounds? So that's like really important. And then finally, you want to make sure you're always looking at your audience analytics. You want to make sure that the type of people are following you, the times that they're on the platforms, that you're paying attention to that, because that's going to adjust your strategy some. Got it? Yes, sir.
Do you have any control over the reach towards your audience, or is that kind of just up to the algorithm?
I would say it's kind of up to the algorithm a bit. The control that you have is to make sure that you do everything in your power to get sent to the right places. So sometimes if you use like the wrong hashtags, for example, if I'm a musician and I'm like putting construction worker in my hashtags, it's not going to really get sent out, because once it does get sent out, no one's going to be interested. Construction workers aren't going to be interested in my content. So you do have some control by looking at those audience analytics, using hashtags, making sure you're using trending sounds and things of that nature. Cool. Yeah, so there's I mean, honestly, so this is the other thing, y'all, like, Google is your best friend. Like it literally is your best friend. And there's so many new things that are coming out today. So like a hashtag generator, you can really Google hashtag generator, and you'll probably find a couple platforms. With all of these platforms, you have to use a little discretion to see what works best for you. Another way that you can find hashtags, the proper hashtags to use, is to look at people that are making content similar to yours. So could I ask, like, what type of content would you make, or what your business is? Okay. Yeah, so then you literally can search on TikTok, search on Instagram, like other software companies, and you'll see the type of that are software companies that are performing successfully, and you'll see the type of hashtags that they're using, and that gives you a strong indication on where to start. Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. I always say use 3 to 5 hashtags, but actually, this is really funny. At our office, right before we came here, Todd brought up the fact, he was like, "Hey, Instagram just released a new update. So this is like literally brand new, that they have topics now. So the relevancy of hashtags is actually dwindling down, and it's now more focused on topics. So when you log onto your Instagram account for your business, take a look at that, and it makes it a little bit easier, because then you can select the topics that work best for you." Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
How important is it to use sounds that are similar to other people in your niche, or using sounds in your niche?
So trending sounds is like a double-edged sword, and this is something you're gonna have to be super careful on, especially with TikTok. I've seen a lot of accounts that, from a vanity standpoint, they're like, "Oh, we have 1 million followers, 100,000 followers," but it's because they only use trending sounds. So when you only hop on trends, people will follow you, they'll like that video, but they're not following you for what your brand is about. It's just because they like that video. So you're not finding the right audience, if that makes sense. Using trending sounds is important because it can help you. It can hack growth, but you have to also like make sure that the content you're making is for who you're targeting as well. So I just try to use like a percentage. For me, since I'm a musician, I really stay away from trending sounds because I want people to listen to my music. So the amount of trending sounds I use might be like 10%. For businesses, that can be increased to maybe like 40 or 50% of the videos you post. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You got that one, bro?
I would say have multiple accounts, because like Cam just said, you don't want. So, say one business is sports related, one business is software related. People who are interested in the sports, they might be interested in software, but more times than not, they're not going to follow you to see software stuff on a sports page, so to say. So I think it would be smart to have multiple pages. On those multiple pages, I think it would be cool to show, hey, like I have these other interests, like I do this other stuff, to show like you don't have to be focused in this one area at all times. Just show like who you are a little bit too, if that makes sense.
Another thing I'll add to that too, I think John is here somewhere. I don't know where he's at, but he's one of the guys on our team, and he blew up his TikTok posting a very specific type of content. After a while, he was like, I'm tired of doing that, and tried to switch it, and people were like, yo, I followed you for this, not that. So like you got to keep that in mind as well, just to go off of that. Mm-hmm. All right, we chilling? On to the next slide. I bet.
Would you still create multiple accounts for those different art forms, or would you say that since they're all technically under the umbrella of art, that they would be able to be on one account?
I would say, I mean, it depends on your personal situation. So if you're trying to sell all of those different artworks, then I would say it works to have them on the same page. But I will say, like, if you're noticing one type of artwork is getting pushed out a lot more than other works, it might be worth it to make multiple accounts so that you can have one account to where maybe it's just certain sketch videos, to where you're recording yourself sketching these different pictures and stuff. And those always do really well. But say you also make sculptures, and those don't necessarily do well compared to those sketches, it would be probably pretty valuable to make a second account to where you can get those sculptures going really well along with those sketches. You kind of hitting it from two different avenues. And that's where you can start sharing audiences and different data and stuff. But yeah, I think it would be, you can do it on both accounts, but just kind of pay attention to your data, I would say. Does that help?
I'm going to go ahead and add and hype him up. This guy's like a casual genius. And so, like, I'm telling you guys, if you have questions, like, ask them while we're here, because for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Post what's available or what. I understand it was for like copyright, stuff, but
So that's actually something I ran into with my music, where I wanted people to get to my Spotify, and if I had a personal account, I couldn't do that. So in your particular situation, you're gonna want to focus heavily on, I wouldn't say ignore trending sounds, but focus heavily on creating a lot of content. And that's going to be key for you because it's a way you can kind of work around the crutch of using trending sounds by making sure you're consistently popping up on people's algorithm. Mm-hmm.
On my personal page, I am. So I was just like, well, I'll just stay here because I specifically wanted that 3 6 Mafia song, you know, for that. So not even just about the training, but just about the music that's available. Period. Like it's not a lot. Like
Mm-hmm.
not that I'm able to, you know, like find.
Okay. The other thing too is this guy over here, Todd. He's a very phenomenal producer and audio engineer. So people that run into that type of problem, we can actually create sounds that you can use for your business that you own. Yeah. And do you have anything else to add to that, Connor?
I don't know if I should be saying this, but you can basically put that sound on your video still outside of Instagram. It's going to upload it as your original sound. I wouldn't recommend doing this a lot because Instagram is going to get mad at you for doing that. You're basically using a copyrighted song. So just you can, I would say, if you also could change the song a little bit to where you're not just completely taking it. But yeah, on those business accounts also, like pay attention to like the original sounds, because people will make, say it's that 3 6 Mafia song, somebody probably made a remix to that song and put it on Instagram, and then you would be able to use that original sound and still get the same sound, maybe not the exact song, but still get the vibe and feel you wanted with that, you know.
Idea that just popped in my head too, going off what Connor was saying, is you could probably speed up the sound or slow it down significantly. Are you familiar with like chopped and screwed music? Or yeah, so yeah, yeah. She's
I'm not aware of that. I think it's up to 7 seconds. Up to 7 seconds before it technically counts as copyright.
Todd is well versed in copyright law. I would say it's probably pretty accurate knowing him. All right, cool. Any other questions, y'all? We chilling? Yes, sir. So one thing I recommend is like I'm gonna go back to the music side. Don't ever say ever like click the link in my bio, because there's indications that like TikTok is like essentially gonna hurt your reach for doing that because they want people to stay on the platform. One thing that I've always found is to let people like ask those questions naturally. So if you have a product that you're advertising, you don't necessarily have to say like, buy this now, buy this now. Just show it, show the product, show how cool and dope it is. And people are gonna naturally be like, hey, like, is this available? And then you can say, yeah, here's my link. Another thing that you can do is you can get people to DM you. There's two reasons why that's successful, because when they personally message you, they just told Instagram that they really, really like you. So all of your content in the future is going to go to that person. And then secondly, that starts to build that rapport with that customer. So figuring out a creative way to get them to direct message you is another good tactic. Yeah.
So now Facebook, they have it set up that the more comments a video or whatever has, the more seen it's going to be. Is TikTok and Instagram more set up on just views specifically versus the actual comment side?
Want to get that one, bro?
I would say, so I don't think views are necessarily going to be what pushes videos out on TikTok and Instagram. I would say it's more about saves, and then I would also say it's more about watch time. So something I look for on TikTok, you can go into your contents and analytics, and you can look at where a percentage of people dropped off on your video. We usually look at our best performing videos on TikTok. After 4 seconds to 5 seconds, we'll still have 40% of the viewers. And that's still only getting a couple thousand views on TikTok. If you're keeping over 60% of people on your TikTok videos, that's where you're going to start seeing tens of thousands of people viewing your videos. So yes, it is the amount of views, but it's how long they're watching. But also, like, this is where you're getting into the value you're giving people. If they're saving your content and sharing your content, that indicates to TikTok and Instagram more people should see this, more people want to see this. If that answers your question. Awesome. Cool.
Cool. Any questions? I bet. I was like the same. Like 3 people have asked questions. So I know someone else does. Go ahead. Well, recently, like today, I found out that they've added topics. Instagram is desperately trying to keep up with TikTok. So because of that, there's just a lot of changes that happen. And that's why I say, like, don't be too hard on yourself if views go down. Because, like, we were using hashtags, and I was like, why are my views down? Like, I'm using the same hashtags. Like, what the heck's going on, right? And then, boom, it's another update. So, like, it just goes through these ebbs and flows. And that's why you just have to kind of monitor the data and just keep your eye on it and don't stress out about that, because it very much is like views going down. And then sometimes it will have like saves are super important to get your views up, and then they'll change it, and then there's comments that are super important. And if you just kind of like keep your eye on it, it's not that hard. You'll notice the trends, and then that's when you can adapt and change what you're doing. Facts. You gotta say that again for the people in the back. You gotta say that again. Yes. That's facts. I gotta. Can we give a clap for that one? Cause it's really tough. It's tough, and especially like as a musician, going through that journey, it can give you all types of anxiousness. Makes you just feel like crap, honestly. And so like always focus on input over output. You know, and if you like the video and you think it's cool, if you like what you created, that's all that matters at the end of the day, for sure. Yeah. So I'm not too sure on TikTok. You might know, but with Facebook and with Instagram, you can block like certain words, phrases to do that. Other thing is, I don't lean into the negativity. So if somebody like says some crazy crap, I just delete it or just won't respond. That's just how I personally approach it. But having like a profanity filters on your page can help a lot with that. Mhm. Cool. We chilling? All right, bet. Go ahead. Yeah, for sure. So that like some people, like I use Hootsuite, some people use Later. There's I think Sprout Social is another one. The importance with those platforms is you have to use what works for you. Like there's another one called Plan, I think with 2 N's. All of them have pros, all of them have cons. Some people really like one a lot. other people like another one specifically. But Plan, Sprout Social, Hootsuite, and Later are four that I know of that you can use that will auto post for you and kind of automate some of that process. Mhm.
So kind of speaking to that, I was in a presentation and they were talking about like Hootsuite and different things, but that the analytics inside of like TikTok and other places, like they'll know that you planned it ahead, and so that may lower the possibility for it to be shown. So is there any truth in that?
I ain't never heard of that. I'm gonna be honest. Have you heard of that, Connor? Yeah, and this is the other thing about social media because like you'll hyper focus on like, hey, I'm trying to grow, and because like we want to get paid, we want our business to blow up. Like who doesn't want 1 million views, right? And so you like hyper focus on that to the point where you'll like people will come up with essentially myths of like, oh, well, you gotta jump with one leg 3 times before you post, or it's not gonna work, you know. So it's just like you got to just take it with a grain of salt. If you see a strong indication, like, hey, I've used Plan, and since I started using one of these platforms for the past 2 months, like, my reach is just horrible, and I use the process of elimination, and it's nothing else. Okay, maybe don't use that platform, but more than likely not, it's not going to affect that. It hasn't affected anything for me. What do you mean by that? Mm-hmm. I definitely say use an alternative. Like it's a yes and type of thing. You want your products to be on like Facebook Market, but you also want to have a space that you own, whether that's virtual and this is just your website, or you're physically in stores. As a business, you want to like open up as many revenue streams as possible. So you might be making, $500 a month off of Facebook Market, but then if you have a website and you optimize that, you could pull another 1,000 a month and, double your profit type thing. So, yeah. Yeah. So when you say native tongue, you kind of like, I mean, like being natural to the platform. Yeah. So that's something else that's super important. That's why like I went over like the vertical and horizontal. If you post a horizontal video as a reel, some of them still, if you get lucky, they could do good, but more times than not, it's going to seriously hurt your reach. So like when you do that research, and I think it's back on this other slide. I don't know how to work this thing. All right. And when you do that research, you want to like really see like, why is this content successful? And I always say authenticity is super important. So like on TikTok, you can get away with like a random video with some words on the screen. Instagram you can, but you may have to have it a little more creative, a little different. So knowing like the type of audience you have on each platform is going to be super important, because then you can like assimilate. The art of subtlety is important as well. So if you're on TikTok with this super curated video with all these effects and everything, most people will probably swipe past it because they're like, this guy's just trying to sell me something, right? Versus on other platforms that would do really well. So you have to just know that. Yeah. Cool. We chilling? Bet. All right. You got that one, bro?
So like he said, we use Hootsuite. And on Instagram specifically, you can't they won't post a reel for you. But honestly, I like that more because I know I probably made a mistake somewhere, so I like to rewatch my video anyways. So they'll just send you a notification that, hey, it's 3 o'clock. Like, here's your caption. You can just copy paste it, and then it'll save your video that you uploaded already to your camera roll, and you can post it, paste that caption, and then put that trending sound on there. I know that's more steps. I haven't found platforms that you can put the trending sound on there, but I also haven't looked for them. Because like I said, I like to hit that post button myself. It makes me feel more comfortable, I think. But yeah.
Cool. So I want everyone to pull their phones out, whether you use TikTok, Instagram, doesn't really matter. And just out of curiosity, I want you to notice the first video that pops up on your phone. It's not random. That video won't be random. Typically, it's because that person, you've engaged with their content in the past or whatever it is. And yeah, and just look at that brand, whatever it is. It could be one of your friends or something, it doesn't even matter. But just look at the content. And the next step is I want you guys to take like 5 to 10 minutes to do a little research on a couple brands that are similar to your business. So if you're a restaurant, look at a couple, just search restaurant on TikTok or Instagram and see some of the things that come up. See if you can make any notes of like why they are successful. The second thing I want you to keep in mind is when you guys break out and kind of do that research for a couple of minutes, is try to stay away from the accounts that have like millions of followers and try to find an account that's small, that has like 10,000 to 100,000, because that's going to be more realistic on where you're at and where your growth is at. Once you get that massive, things change a lot. So, cool. Yeah, I'll just take a couple minutes, for the activity. Y'all, did you guys understand what I was saying? Did I not explain that good? Oh, so my bad. Look, just take like 5 minutes. So does anyone care to share their business in here? Or, sure. Okay, so look up a couple other makeup artists that, and just look at their content, the type of stuff they're posting, the type of hashtags they're posting, why are they successful, and see if you can find any trends and things that you can take from the content that they're making and apply that to your brand. And the same for everyone else. Does that make a little bit more sense? Yeah? Okay, cool. I got you. Energy, some music, some energy. Dead silent, yeah, that's just silence. Here we go, Red. DJ Reggie Red. Bro. All right, y'all. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this up and answer any final questions. Hope that was engaging. So a couple important notes that I want you guys to keep. Write it down. Keep it in your mental note, whatever it is focus on community building. A lot of time with social, it's like people think of it as like a one-way conversation. Yeah, you're on a phone screen, but you're still reaching a real human being. So be a real human being in your videos, and focus on connecting with people. Focus on the input. Niche down. Really focus in on who you're targeting. Don't worry about what everyone else is doing. Just focus in on what you're doing. Just post it. There's a lot of times I didn't want to post a video. Like I said, I felt insecure about it or felt like it didn't represent my brand well, and the video did really well. So try to take a step back from how media used to be 5 years ago. Learn, adapt, learn some more, and always come up with new ideas. I won't say no idea is a bad idea because that's not true, but just try to think of brainstorming creative stuff, different stuff. Last thing I want to share with you guys is this Let's Create plan. So we actually host consultations and classes with people that are ready to grow their brand. This was somebody that we did a consultation with, Mike's Vintage Toys, and this is the funniest situation. So we broke everything down to him. We were like, do it like this, and he did exactly what we told him to do, and in 20 minutes he got 20,000 views. It's really funny, and everybody that we've worked with that verbatim listens to what we say, they see an immediate shift in their social media presence versus the people that are kind of hard-headed a little bit. They don't see that. So if you guys are interested in that, feel free to talk to me or any of the other members of the team. Shoot me a text, email, and let's work, let's create. Thank you guys for my presentation and just hearing what I had to say. Thank you, Launch Dayton.